You accidentally came across your wife's pregnancy report. You were completely stunned, couldn't believe your own eyes, because you know you're infertile. And the rumor about your wife having an affair with the neighbor turned out to be true. No wonder she suddenly had designer handbags and luxury watches. It felt like a huge rock was pressing on your chest, leaving you completely unable to breathe. You make $170,000 a year, and have worked your ass off for more than a decade. Yet in the end, you couldn't even hold on to your own wife. You open your mobile banking app and stare at the few $1,000s left in your account. That's when it hits you what really defeated you. Wasn't love, it was money. That's right, even with a six-figure salary, you're still broke. No woman is going to suffer with you just for love. You grow more and more confused. Where did all the money go? You open your payment statements and fall into deep thought. It feels like you finally realize something. You got some things seriously wrong. You bought into a so-called responsible financial lie. Work hard to make money first, start saving later. You'll figure out the rest someday. That lie is expensive, it hides in everyday life. Inside every swipe of your card, inside those little rewards you think you deserve after a long, exhausting day. By the time you wake up to it, your paycheck already belongs to someone else. Rent, subscriptions, food delivery apps, that $6 cup of coffee, they all take their cut. And the person who actually worked hard to earn the money. You are usually left with next to nothing. So if you're serious about getting out of debt, building stability, or even dreaming about becoming a millionaire one day, the first truth is not inspiring, but it's freeing. Your problem is not just income, it's order. If saving happens last, saving usually never happens. People call themselves disciplined because they pay every bill on time. But many of those bills are just habits wearing a disguise. Look at how this works in real life. 3 $6 coffees a week doesn't feel like a financial decision. It feels harmless, almost too small to matter. But that single pattern can drain more than $900 a year. And money pressure rarely stays inside a spreadsheet, it leaks into relationships. Couples don't just argue about numbers, they fight about what those numbers mean. Time, values, priorities, whose goals get funded first. Money exposes all of it. A relationship can look stable until the budget gets tight, then suddenly every purchase becomes a referendum on trust. That's why before we talk about tactics, we have to destroy the old fantasy that good income automatically creates a good financial life. Here's where the fantasy ends and the math begins. People say we just need to communicate better about money. If two adults never sit down and name their top 3 financial goals, then every paycheck gets split by impulse instead of by priority. Bills get paid, a little goes nowhere, and fun money quietly becomes a leak you cannot see. The issue is not romance. Now add the second number the original advice gives you. At least 3 months' worth of income in an emergency fund. That single target exposes how fragile most households really are. If 1 month already feels difficult, then 3 months is not a cute savings goal. It's proof that one unexpected event can knock the whole system over. A job interruption, a medical bill, a broken car, a rent increase. Suddenly the household is not making choices, it's reacting. And notice how brutal that equation is. If you can't set aside even 1 month first and build from there, then your finances aren't tight, they're unstable. That's why frequent money meetings matter more than people admit. Not because talking is magic, but because silence is expensive. This is the part most people never measure honestly. They think the danger is overspending on obvious luxuries, but the real drain is quieter, bills paid late, insurance bought on autopilot, small extra purchases that feel harmless in the moment, and expensive only after the month is over. You can work hard, follow a budget, and still feel stuck, because your effort is flowing into systems that reward ownership and punish sloppiness. The person with assets gets options. Look at how it plays out in ordinary life. One person gets paid, covers rent, groceries, transport, and tells themselves they're being responsible. Then come the invisible cuts, a forgotten bill date, a penalty, a lower credit score, a more expensive loan, a higher insurance premium. Nothing dramatic, just a series of small permissions for the system to take more. A credit score is not just a number between 300 and 850, with roughly 700 sitting near the average. In practice, it decides whether money is offered to you cheaply or rented back to you at a premium. That means 2 people can buy the same thing and live in the same city. Yet one pays less simply because their record says they're safer to lend to. The same thing happens with protection. Most people buy insurance once, file it away, and never look again. But policies for life, disability, long-term care, or property and casualty can quietly become another channel of overpayment. If you never compare providers, a few minutes online every couple of years can save hundreds of dollars, And that matters because every dollar not unnecessarily transferred out is a dollar that can remain under your control. So when you review your spending, your credit file at Experian or Equifax, and your insurance stack, you're not doing admin, you're finding out who owns the value created by your discipline. The trap is not that you don't care about money, the trap is that you keep it vague. Vague income, vague spending, vague savings, vague debt, vague retirement, and vague money always becomes expensive money. So don't begin with a grand plan, begin with one dull ritual. Pick one fixed day each week, sit down for 10 minutes. Open your banking app, your credit card app, and if you have one, your retirement account. Then write only 4 numbers on paper. Money in, money out, total debt, total saved. No forecasting, no motivation speech. This small act does something most people underestimate. It forces your financial condition out of your head and into view. You stop saying, "I think I'm doing okay," and start seeing whether your assets are actually growing faster than your liabilities. You stop guessing whether you're saving enough for retirement, and start checking whether contributions are happening at all. If your employer offers a 401k, look at the contribution. If there's a tax-deferred option available, verify the amount. Instead of assuming you'll fix it someday, if one spouse is not earning, even then retirement doesn't disappear as a responsibility. The point here is not sophistication. Now add one more mechanical rule, and make it boring enough that you can't negotiate with it. Anytime a bill arrives, especially a credit card bill, don't place it in a mental pile called later. Open it the same day, look at the due date. If you can pay in full, schedule the payment immediately. If you can't, write the exact amount owed, and the due date next to your 4 weekly numbers. That single motion cuts off the fantasy. That debt is harmless as long as it feels manageable. Credit cards used for phones, vacations, and lifestyle purchases can look elegant on the day you swipe. They look very different after the due date, when interest starts feeding on delay, and because disorganization creates its own kind of loss. Store your account passwords in one safe place that can actually be found when needed. Retirement, mortgage, insurance, investment accounts. If access is scattered, your money life stays fragmented. You don't need a dramatic reset. You need a weekly chair, a sheet of paper, 4 numbers, and bills handled before they rot into interest. And this is the part most people skip, because it sounds less exciting than a money secret. You do save, yes, but you also let money work if your cash only sits in a savings account. Earning something like 3 to 7% a year, it may feel safe, but safety alone doesn't carry every goal. The bill still arrives, the rent still rises, the long-term plan still needs fuel. So if you take anything from this, take this. Your goal is not to look rich fast. Your goal is to become harder to break. Start as early as you can, start with what you can, and let consistency do the heavy lifting. If this helped, stay close, keep learning, and keep going. That's how compounding begins. Wenn Sie also bis hierher gelesen haben, welche Veränderungen sind Sie bereit vorzunehmen, Ihr Leben zu retten und Ihrem wahren Selbst zu begegnen?